How's it, everyone? Welcome back to another string review right here on OpenCourt. I'm Kent, and today I'm testing out a natural gut poly hybrid made by the company Volkl. Maybe some of you guys have heard of it, maybe not, but this is my first time using this hybrid, so I'm very excited. The strings that I'm testing today is the Volkl V-Fuse Hybrid. Let's check it out. So Volkl is known for their polyester line, especially their Cyclone. It's one of the most popular polyesters on the market because it's budget friendly. It has a very dead feeling, so I'm not a huge fan of it. But this V-Fuse Hybrid is a pre-packaged hybrid, and one of the strings included in here is the Volkl Cyclone poly, and the other is the Volkl V-Icon natural gut. I do plan to review Cyclone on this channel. I haven't used this in many years, so I'm gonna try the thinnest version I can find for a future review. But to be fair, I'm not the biggest fan of this poly. This natural gut I have never used before. From what I've read online, this Volkl V-Icon is supposed to play a little bit crisper than the Babolat VS series, which is my personal favorite natural gut that I've ever used. So a crisp natural gut sounds pretty intriguing to me. What you can notice from this V-Icon is that, first of all, it's yellow. Most natural guts are natural color, so this thing is actually coated, so it's supposed to be a little bit more durable than a traditional natural gut, but because it is coated, it's going to take a little bit of time to break in to get that natural gut feel. Another thing that's appealing about this V-Fuse Hybrid is that it's pretty cost effective. This one set pre-packaged hybrid right now is about $27. I've seen the price fluctuate quite a bit. I've seen it as high as $35. The cost of natural gut does fluctuate recently, but right now this is on sale for about $27. You can find them on Tennis Warehouse, probably Tennis Express. So if you're looking to try a cheap hybrid version, maybe give this a try because the VS RPM hybrid has gotten more expensive in recent years. This comes in two gauges, the 125 and the 130 gauge. I'm trying the 125 gauge because I like thinner gauges, and they all come in this black and yellow color. Since this is black and yellow, I am going to string it in my black and yellow racket. This is the Head Extreme Tour Night, the 98 version. This is my favorite Extreme, and I'm going to string the Volkl V-Icon natural gut in the mains at 54 pounds, and I'm going to string the Volkl Cyclone in the cross at 52 pounds. Many people have differing opinions and tastes when it comes to natural gut poly hybrids. If you want more durability, put the Cyclone in the mains, but I want the feel of the natural gut, so I'm going to put the V-Icon in the mains. Alright, so I'm very excited. Let's string this up and get on the court. But before we do that, if you guys like this content, be sure to overhead smash that like and subscribe button to keep the reviews coming. So let's start with the pros of the Volkl V-Fuse Hybrid. By putting the natural gut in the mains, I noticed a big boost in power from the frame. The Extreme Tour Night already has a decent amount of pop, but that was accentuated with this setup. The Cyclone is known to be pretty dead, so I think putting the Cyclone in the mains with the V-Icon in the cross would serve as a better combination in a more powerful racket. There were times when the power hurt me, but I'll save that for later. With that said, I love the easy power I was able to generate, especially on my flat serve. When I struck the ball clean, I really felt the pocketing from the natural gut, and I was able to hit flat serves with so much pace, and they did not seem to decelerate as it crossed the net line. Because I have a low contact point due to my stature, my toss needs to be perfect on flat serves for me to clear the net, but I had no issues with net clearance with the V-Fuse. I had a decent amount of directional control on my flat serve as well, with the pocketing acting like a slingshot. The slice serve also had a decent amount of sliding action, and it really penetrated the service box. My backhand ground stroke also benefited from the power. Because I hit a two-hander, my power potential is somewhat limited, but when I got my hips to fully rotate, the speed of my backhand rivaled that of my forehands with the V-Fuse. The power also helped on defense. When I had to stretch for a return or hitting on the run, the power allowed me to hit the ball deep and keep the opponent from staying on the offensive. Volleys were also easy to put away with the power. I have a very compact swing on volleys to begin with, and that's all I needed to do to win points. Defensive volleys and approach volleys were also easy to punch deep, and I could follow my volley to the net confidently. Power is one of the main benefits of natural gut. Another is the feel, and the V-Icon has incredible feel. The string bed really pockets the ball, and I could drop the ball on a dime or hit angles with confidence. Since I'm a serve and volleyer and also a finesse-oriented player, I love natural gut. The feel I got from the V-Icon really complemented my crafty, deceptive style. I loved getting up to the net and carving up the front court. I could hit drop shots that died inside the service box and also angle volleys that hit the side fence after one bounce. Precision shots such as low angles hit at my opponent's feet or volleys hit into gaps in my opponent's coverage were easy to execute with the V-Fuse. I was afraid the Cyclone would make this string bed a bit deader than something livelier, but I felt no drop off in feel with the V-Icon in the mains. Another positive is the comfort. I don't think this will come as a surprise to anyone who uses natural gut, but this V-Fuse Hybrid was incredibly comfortable and I felt no jarring sensations in my wrist or elbow, even on off-center hits. Cyclone is known to be pretty dead, but it isn't as stiff as RPM Blast, so that also helped with the comfort. I think if you have arm issues but still want some control, this V-Fuse Hybrid could be the answer you've been looking for. Another pro that should come as no surprise to avid natural gut users is the tension maintenance. The V-Fuse is rather exceptional. There is a bit of a break-in period with this hybrid, but it isn't a tension issue. The V-Icon has a pretty thick coating, so it plays lively, but doesn't really get the feel of natural gut until some of the coating wears off, which really depends on how much spin you hit. But once the gut feel sets in, the tension stays stable for many hours. The spin potential with the V-Icon in the mains is also pretty good. Full bed Cyclone users will undoubtedly produce more spin, but I think people have a misconception about using gut mains. A lot of players think gut mains decreases spin potential, but that isn't necessarily true. Because natural gut is so elastic, it actually displaces and snaps back quite well. Case in point, I was able to hit really high bouncing kick serves with the V-Icon mains. Granted, a full bed of poly will probably produce a bit more, but it isn't a huge drop off in spin potential as many people think. The strings also grip the ball really well on slices, and as the ball sits on the strings, the gut mains pulls back like an archer pulling back a bowstring. This results in the strings snapping and producing a slice that really skids low off the bounce. However, one downside is that the launch angle on slices with gut mains is quite high compared to poly mains. And lastly, this hybrid is a pretty cost-effective combo, and I think it is really worth the price. I've seen natural gut fluctuate quite a bit recently due to supply chain issues and material shortages, but this pre-packaged hybrid sits at a reasonable $27 currently. A full bed of V-Icon can get quite pricey, but I believe it rivals the Babolat VS and Wilson Natural Gut in terms of feel, so I think the price is fair. With all that being said, I did have a couple of issues with the V-Fuse Hybrid I would like to address. So now let's get into the cons of the Volkl V-Fuse Hybrid. First of all, the control isn't quite as good as some other natural gut hybrids I've used in the past. When I took a big swing, particularly on my forehand returns and approach shots, I sailed a lot of shots past the baseline. Although the spin level is respectable, it certainly isn't in the class of a full bed poly. Consequently, I wasn't getting the last second dip on forehand that I would get from a full poly. The spin is definitely more noticeable on my kick serve when I really swing up on the ball to displace the strings. Although I hit some pretty decent natural topspin on my forehand because of my grip, I like to drive through the ball, so I often couldn't corral that power. I strung at 54, but I think I might bump up the tension a bit or even use the thicker gauge to get some control. I don't mind using thicker gauges when it comes to natural gut. The launch angle is also pretty high because the natural gut mains really stretches when the ball is sitting on the strings and slingshots upward. I had to be careful when I was hitting a forehand above my shoulders to make sure to come down on the ball, otherwise I would send it to the back fence. I also had a hard time controlling my overheads because the ball just shoots off. If I didn't snap my wrist fast enough, the ball was flying long. And lastly, this is a con I have for every natural gut string. The V-Fuse Hybrid is a pain to string. It isn't as bad as Babolat VS though because the V-Icon is coated, so it feels more like polyester to the touch. But just having to be careful when uncoiling the string makes it a bit of a hassle, but at least I only had to string it in the mains, but that's about it. I was pleasantly surprised by this prepackaged hybrid. I didn't have high hopes because I've never used V-Icon before, and Cyclone is honestly one of my least favorite polys I've tried, but I had a lot of fun with this hybrid. Is it as good as my favorite gut poly hybrid? No, but no surprise there. What is my favorite gut poly hybrid? I'll save that for a future review. So, who is the Volkl V-Fuse Hybrid for? It's for players looking for a powerful and arm-friendly response that wants something a bit more cost-effective than some other offerings on the market. Touch and finesse players will most likely love this hybrid. Nothing beats natural gut when it comes to feel, comfort, and power. The control and spin potential could be better, but it wasn't a huge issue because I could always put the Cyclone in the mains if I wanted more of that. There is a lot of flexibility, both figuratively and literally, with this hybrid, and I think it's worth a try. So, has anyone in the comments ever tried this hybrid? Has anyone ever tried full bed of V-Icon? How does it compare to some of the other guts on the market? Let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching this review of the Volkl V-Fuse Hybrid strings right here on OpenCourt. If you guys like this content, be sure to overhead smash that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you on an OpenCourt.